Because I try to explain this, and I've worked with rock and roll bands for 15, close to 20 years now. Okay, and I've traveled around the country with them, and I've worked them out. I drive a truck, so I go everywhere, you know. And I've worked with them, and I know performers, musicians, and been through a lot of them. And now there's crazy ones and there's nice ones. Some people, some of them can't understand what I talk about, and some of them cannot. See? Most of them, I would say probably 90% of them, would not do what I propose because they would get paranoid because 90% of them are really not coming out of a good educational system wherein they have been taught to think real clearly. You know, they get tangled up real easy on concepts of beyond how to make enough money to pay rent. Because most musicians are in that position where they have to keep paying the rent. And that's all they work for. So they work in shit bands and they don't understand where they're going to. They're good at it.
They get caught up in this pretty much cycle of gigging.
I say 90% of them. And there's that 10% though that they just got an attitude where, hey, this is what I do and I better learn how to do it. You know that idea of Vincent Quinn? Comes out of South Carolina, he's a guitar player. I think he just got a degree from UMass already. You've been here for a while. You know Michelle Mattingly? Redheaded girl? Bushy redheaded girl?
Sid was running the Black Music Club, South Station area, up above Wedgie's Pub.
This girl sings jazz. Works the clubs over here in Indian Square.
What's her name?
Michelle Mattingly. Used to work in a Turtle Cafe. Probably still does.
I've seen her name on a poster.
She used to work with this other girl.
Jamie Baum, the flute player.
She was a flute player. I don't know the name. I don't think I
Turtle Cafe, 1369.
Yeah, and that's where she's singing. She used to work the rock and roll band. You know her, girl? Saxophone player? Comes out of Lynn. Crazy.
No, but you know, I really wanted to express just this point. I think that sometimes the key to successful business ventures are in being able to explain to the potential client what the fuck is happening here, you know?
Yeah.
Or in some kind of way.
Well, see, this is
I think in this particular case, what the problem is that people in the performing arts, for the most part, that 90% that you're talking about, know nothing about visual art. For the most part, people in the arts like work in their own media.
Yep.
And know very little about similarities or anything about like other mediums.
Yeah.
Except for maybe a 10% who
don't know any more about it than the rest of it, but have enough money to pay for it.
Well, I say consider themselves to be artists, and in that sense, well, no, not even that, but in the sense of just being artists, do what they do because they have to do it. You know, I mean, that's the main reason they do it, not because they want to make money, not because they want to be famous.
Yeah.
It's because, like, if they don't do it, they feel like they're just going to die or some shit. It's going to happen. Like,
nuts or something like that, yeah.
Well, nuts.
And so, like,
do it.
among those people, like, they're constantly reevaluating what it is that they're doing. And they're constantly trying to, like, gain different viewpoints about what they're doing and about the connection between what they're doing and what other artists are doing.
That's right.
And that's when multimedia, the idea of multimedia comes into play. I think that I feel like my whole introduction into multimedia art or cross media or whatever you want to call it, cross media collaboration and stuff. It comes from the fact of being involved in a particular kind of music, improvisation, you know. And
that's what
because
you say,
like
yes.
because like certain processes in improvisation, there are things that happen in improvisation that don't happen in other forms of music. Doesn't happen in rock bands, doesn't happen in commercial bands, doesn't happen in classical music. Because those people have a plan.
Yep.
And they have to work on this plan. You know, somebody thought up some shit in a room by themselves and came out with it all on paper.
Yeah.
And passed it out to everybody and said, do this. This is what I want you to do. Right. So that's how most music is done.
Yes.
But improvisation isn't done that way. Improvisation is done at the moment, and it involves when there's one person playing improvisation, then there's nothing that he can do that is wrong.
That's right.
The only time he can fuck up is when he's playing with somebody else.
Nope, can't even fuck up then if it's improvisation.
Well, he can't fuck up, but in order for them to pull off a successful collaboration, there has to be something about what they do that relate to each other. You know,
I don't believe that's true. That's
no,
possible.
No, wait a minute.
I've seen too many minds and fiddle players.
No, wait a minute. Even if there has to be some kind of decisions made when there's like an ensemble where there's two or more people. Even if the decision is that, even if we all decide that we're not going to listen to each other, that decision is made, you know. And that's what happens, you know.
I think once you make that decision, you're no longer improv. You're
no, all you're doing is like building a frame for which you can improvise in.
Right.
That's all you're doing. And that's, I mean, it's been through that like, myself, that like, I've taken an interest in like working with painters, you know, and working with dancers, you know, and eventually working with like, video artists. You know,
well, hell.
And film people.
Looks like we're going in the right direction.
So I was just saying all of that. I was just saying all of that to say that, to me, in terms of what you guys are doing, seems like the most important thing to do is in some way put on paper or some way have, I don't want to call it a code of ethics, but just somehow you need to be able to inform the client or the performer or whatever you want to call it. You have to be able to give them information about what it is that you do and how you do it. And if they can have an understanding about how you do or what it is you're going to do, then they can make a decision about whether they want to do something with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to say is the key to successful stuff a lot of times is just sort of trying to open those doors and convincing people that this is good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. Yes, I agree.
And if you can get that point across, then everything just falls in line. Like when I had my loft, that John was talking about, and I was doing like producing events, weekend events in the loft with local groups and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I ever asked anybody if they would want to play there.
They always wanted to play it.
Right. I mean, it's like, I told people that I was making my loft available for people to come and do concerts in, right? And after that, then people would come to me and say, well, listen, man, we want, you know, we've been working on some new material, and we want to just sort of like showcase it someplace. How about here? Can we do it here? I said, well, sure, man. Like another group's booked this weekend, but the next weekend you can get in, you know. And it went on for 7 years like that. I never really asked anybody to play there. That's what I was telling him. It was like people came to me with the idea, because like I put out an idea that here's a frame for which you can like put your idea in, and that's
well, that's where we're going to.
The camera. There's a camera woman that I met through another person. I was sort of just got involved with a session with people that I didn't know anything about what they did.
Who are these people you've been doing this with?
Jane Jacobs is the person who.
I know Jane.
You know Jane?
Yeah.
Jane came in.
Doesn't she have she's got to open up her own business?